Hey everybody, welcome to the Night Crew Show. I hope you guys are having an excellent evening, everybody out there in Corona land.
Corona land.
Sounds like a
What?
beer.
I mean, it is a beer. Sounds like a wonderful, paradise full of Corona beers. No, but hey
Those poor
everybody,
guys.
like seriously, hi. My name again.
Hello.
My name is Buster
Hey.
Shorter, and then tonight we have Ospita.
Hello.
We got Gandora Olap, and we
Hey.
got J Fish Media.
Howdy.
Well, welcome, guys. Thank y'all for being here. And on a more serious note, even though we made a joke at the beginning, like I hope everybody, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody. I hope you all doing okay during all this quarantine business going on, and everybody's safe, and everybody's not getting sick and getting other people sick by being out and about. Okay, if you don't gotta be out and about, don't be out and about. But we won't talk about that too much. Everybody's heard enough about that this week.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty well drilled in.
Yeah, but and thank you for the host, Ospita. And speaking of, so how are you guys this week, Ospita? How was your week? How's your stream? How's life? Whatever you're willing to share, tell us how things is.
Streaming has been slow this week. My dad hasn't been feeling very well, and I think I'm just worn down.
Yeah.
And I have to be really careful with my dad. It's been like a constant fight with him. He's finally relented where he knows that he can't go out, and
Gotcha.
he's stubborn. He wants to be independent. So he's 89 years old and very cranky and set in his ways, but he's finally relented to letting me go and do the shopping. And like I went last night shopping at 10 o'clock at night, because I figured the later or the earlier, the better, the less people I have to deal with. So he's extremely susceptible to any upper respiratory infections. So I just have to keep a handle on him. So it's really exhausting. Actually, I'm really tired.
I can imagine. I mean,
That sounds tough.
I wish you all the best with all that, because I know I've talked to you before about your father and all that, and I know it's, and I went through that with like an older parent, or well, grandparent in my family, great grandparent, and like you know, and even a grandparent later on, a different one, and it just like taking care of people is a lot of work. Taking care of somebody else is a lot of work, especially when all that's going on. Like older issues.
Yeah, I've actually slept the whole day today, and I was supposed to stream, and I slept through my stream.
Sometimes you gotta sleep through a stream. I've been there. I've been there. I won't say when, but I've been there. I've been there twice. I'm like, I just gotta keep sleeping.
I even set an alarm just to go off so that I could be here tonight. So.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, thank you for making it. And thanks. And I know that's always tough taking care of other people, especially as they're getting older. So.
Well, with everything else going on in the world today, it's just even worse.
Yeah, everything's just kind of wild right now.
Crazy, cray.
Wild.
Yep.
But what about you, Gandora? You've been on the show before. You know the drill. So how have you been, my dear?
Yeah, I've been doing well. It's kind of a mix. My children have been out of school for like 3 weeks so far, and so I'm increasing the amount of streams that I'm doing while also trying to figure out how I can homeschool my children in the middle of it. Like, wow. Just when you did that whole like warning that we were an hour out, I was out fishing with my boys down at the river. We didn't catch anything, but I got to spend some time with them going out. I'm trying to kind of balance out the time I spend with the kids, getting them some of the skill sets that they need. We've been working on the cabin out in the woods, and I've really been like tomorrow I'm dragging my poor wife out there so that we can make some roof beams and stuff. I tend to like to mix in really hardcore gaming with really hardcore real physical outdoor activities myself. Which I think makes me a little bit unusual, but like everything I do, I like to do it like all the way. So
I can attest to that. That's kind of the person you've always come across to as. That's always the kind of person you've come across as to me. There, I couldn't say that first sentence right.
So yeah, I guess today we're talking about Star Citizen. I've been playing a fair amount of Star Citizen, but I actually started playing Final Fantasy VII, the classic.
Oh yeah.
This week, and I've been having a blast with that. Voicing all of the characters, even the girls, and I'm horrible at it, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm not very good at girl voices, I'm told. I think I take it too over the top, but yeah.
Guys
It
tend
makes
to do
sense.
that.
It makes sense, right?
I wouldn't say it's about making your voice lighter. It's just you need to think about how a woman talks. How her tonality more than her voice.
Well, they had me do the Cookie Monster voice for Eris for quite a while. That's what my viewers wanted, and that hurt. That hurt, but I can see why it was enjoyable.
I can imagine Cookie Monster does get a little rough on the throat.
Yeah, for sure. I need,
It's weird as it sounds.
Honey and water is what I need if I'm going to be aggressively voicing characters.
I'd like to put. Oh, hey, Winter Age! Thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody from Winter Age's channel. Thank you so much. Hope you guys are doing good over there in the Scarlet Order. Hats off to.
But yeah, that's been me. Like, luckily, me and my wife already work from home. I'm already full-time streamer. She's a freelance artist, and it was just really a matter of, okay, I guess summer is coming again all of a sudden. Let's pull the kids out and figure out how we can balance it out again. But the nice thing is I get to sleep in. The worst part I think about having the kids in school is I have to wake up at the time that's necessary to get them ready to go to school. So
no, you don't do that.
All in all, I'm like, cool. We're still not talking to anyone except for online. So perfect. Not much different. How about you, Jay Fish? What you been up to? What's happening? It's your first time on the show, right?
It is.
There you go.
For me, it's been a lot of the same. Streaming constantly. So really the social distancing portion for me, not that big of a deal. Except when if I go to work, I pick orders for Amazon in a grocery store. So that's a little dicey in terms of interaction with people. But the most difficult thing is I've got two kids that are in elementary school. So transitioning to the whole e-learning, which is what they've been doing now, is a little interesting to kind of strike the balance of, making sure that they're getting done what needs to be done, because that is really the top priority for me. And then being able to get streaming in as well, because I haven't taken a day off of streaming in coming up on 30 days now.
Oh wow. So I mean, so you're dealing with the kids at home as well.
Yeah.
And just trying to balance as well.
Right. But I'm used to it. I was a stay-at-home dad before my kids
right on.
started school, so it's not that much of a difference really for me, except like I said, it's mainly making sure that their schoolwork and that stuff is taken care of.
Yeah, and they're staying engaged in activities and stuff like that. Yeah.
How old are your kids, Jayfish?
6 and 9 years old, two girls.
Oh,
nice. I got 6 and 10. They're pretty close, but both boys.
The energy, they could power a city with the amount of energy that these two kids have.
My children could destroy a city with the amount of energy they have.
There you go.
Creators and destroyers.
Exactly. Together they can conquer all of the adults' ability to.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Y'all's kids are like literally almost about the same ages, but like opposite
genders.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. I bet you they break just as much crap.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, with all that said, thank you guys. And how am I? I'm doing good. I got my nails done. I know I sneak it in on you guys now. I don't give you a chance.
You didn't even give us a chance.
I don't give you a chance. No, I got my nails done. Which I know I just yelled at everybody about stay indoors, but like my salon, they've rescheduled me like 3 times this week. and they were like, we have to close, but we will get you in. And I was like, thanks. And they only had like, they've apparently like gotten into the system where they're very much limiting the amount of people in the place at a time. Like it's only like
Right.
it's like less than 3 clients at a time. It's
Right.
like
Plus
3.
all that acetone, it's probably got to kill COVID. You
Yeah.
should test it. Just like acetone.
No, it was fun. I mean, it was just nice to get out and like actually get, because my nails were breaking. They were breaking. I had 2 of them break this week. So I was like, this isn't just like a, this isn't just like a vanity thing, but it really is like a safety issue for me. It's not
Have you got that thin nails that tend to crack down the line?
No, they don't crack down the line. My grandmother had that. I don't have that. It's just that they were so long. They were
Okay,
really
gotcha.
long. I mean, they were like they were probably about just the nail itself, like hole was probably about 2 inches long or more.
Gotcha.
Like it's funny how I'm adjusting all of a sudden to like having like it feels like my nails got like buzz cuts. And, and like, I don't know, like I got like, I remember when I was younger, I got like a really short haircut, like when I was like in my 20s. And I remember at the time just being like, whoa, like so little head drag, like oh my god, like it blew my mind how different it was. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, because I've had long nails for almost half a year now, so now I've been like, oh my god, what do I even do? So,
that makes sense.
yeah, it's a really odd adjustment, but anyway, that's just me. I just did that. Streaming's been good. Streaming's been great, and been doing the TSMR thing on the weekends. Catch us on Saturday on Astropub channel, where we do Star Trek Vasquez. We do that role-playing game. That's been a lot of fun. We got 4 episodes left this season, so y'all make sure to check it out. But yeah, and then gotten good at my Klingon makeup. So that's me. That's about it for me. And to kind of speak of what you guys said about Corona, you two, especially Jfish and Gandora, it's been kind of the same for me. Like it's not a big adjustment for our lifestyle to like just be, because he works from home all the time. I work from home doing this, you know what I mean, and doing other things like event planning. But event planning's kind of fakakta right now, so like literally you can't, like everything we've had lined up for the next 3 months is wiped off the calendar. It's all gone. So all my future revenue outside of streaming is pretty much for the next like quarter is gone, at least. So it is what it is. But yeah, anyway, so let's get on with it. Let's get into Star Citizen talks. So, Jfish, this is you may have watched the show before, you may be aware of this. We do a thing every week called Bug of the Week. It is one of my favorite things. Star Citizen, it has to be a Star Citizen bug, of course, but it's like it can be like a good bug that like made you laugh, like funny bug that was entertaining. It can be like a real like nasty bug that really ruined ruined some stuff for you, or like even like a super game breaking bug, or just a visual, like it's a bug of any kind. It's just a bug that piqued your interest. And I'll start with you this time. But do you have a bug of the week, or do you need a moment to think about it?
Oh no, I got one. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, you were ready for this. Like you're like,
oh, it
so
happened
ready.
like 3 hours ago, so not that hard for me. Okay, so I was doing a Caterpillar run filled with cargo, landed at Area 18, go to sell it on the tram, get a crash to desktop. So normally you get a crash to desktop, no big deal, you can load back into your instance. And for the most part, you're good. Your cargo's still there because it saved you as landing and just stored your ship. No, this time it destroyed my ship. So after a couple different times of trying to fix the issue, just ended up eating about 300k worth of credits. That or the invisible crime stat. That's the other good one that I've gotten.
Invisible crime stat.
Yep.
Okay.
Just doing absolutely nothing wrong, running cargo all day. Go to land at Area 18. Doors don't open up. Okay, what's going on? Go up to the orbital. Nope, they start shooting at you because you got a crime stat out of nowhere, and there's bupkis you can do about it at that point. So those are my two.
I think what actually causes that is the fines. If you leave a fine unpaid long enough, it becomes a it becomes a crime stat. Just
But I
FYI.
didn't do anything to accrue a fine, which is what I don't
Like
get.
hovering over a landing zone too long gets you a small fine, and then it escalates and escalates and escalates. So if at any
Maybe
point
that
you
was
did
it.
that, you may be able to check your crime history on that character to see if that maybe was what would happen. Like those
Okay.
terminals, it's happened to me, and I thought that too. And I dug into my little UEE crime history, and I was like, well, those sons of
I'll have to check that one out.
yeah, see if that was it, but maybe it's something else though.
And what about you, Miss Ospeda?
It has to be. I mean, I miss
Ospeda.
hearing that. I miss hearing that.
What about you, Ospeda? You got bug of the week?
Well, okay, so I've only streamed Star Citizen on one day this week because I've been really super busy. So actually it went really well for my Star Citizen. So I'll have to tell you about my bug that happened just the week before that. How's that sound? Does that sound all right?
Totally fine. You
Okay.
know what? If you know, between now and the last time you were on the
Same
show, it
build.
works. Like it really
Same
does.
build.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So let me set this up because you got to understand. I do not space truck. I don't. I just don't do it. It's not what I want to do. It's
not your thing.
Nothing to do with it.
It's not what Ossipita is vibing. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
It's not her vibe.
Yeah, not my thing. But I did get the carrot.
Okay.
So I'm like, and I wasn't planning on getting the carrot, but I got the carrot. Right.
It just happened. You can't be blamed for this.
Yeah,
Unfortunate.
One day.
My mom calls that drunk Amazoning.
Why you got a 10-pound chocolate box?
I need that. That's my mom.
I needed it. Okay, go on.
So I just want you to know that there's this thing. I don't space truck, and I hate big ships. I swear to God, I am never going to pilot my own big ship ever. Right? I'm going to hire a crew, and they can do all the flying. Right? I don't want anything to do with a big ship. I don't want anything to do with space trucking. But I decided that I would load my cargo because I have this big, huge ship. And I have enough money, so I went and got some quartz out of Lorville. Filled the whole thing, 61,000, credit. I get all the way to ArcCorp, and I'm right there at the hangar, not even going down yet. I'm lined up perfectly. I also don't fly in third person. I mean, I never fly in third person except for this time because I was really nervous about landing this big ship. I've never really put it in a hangar, for a big ship like that.
You did.
So I'm like, okay.
Before you had ever landed it.
I've taken off and I've landed at open, at the R&Rs, but not in a drop down hangar.
Okay.
Right. So I've gone, flying through, horizontal.
You were being brave. This is what you're telling us. You were being very brave. Go on.
Yeah. So I'm hovering right there, and I'm getting ready to hit my control to go down, and my ship blows up for no reason.
Ouch.
Only you, Ossipita.
Only me. I was so mad, and I didn't want to convey that. I mean, most people knew that I was very mad on the stream, but I didn't curse.
Did you say a bad word?
I didn't
say a bad word?
I didn't, but I was very frustrated, and I was really frustrated, and people knew I was frustrated, and just I was like, okay, so I just stopped the stream on Star Citizen and played Rage 2 on Night. So
you're like, I'm just gonna rage now. Oh my gosh, bless your heart. That's funny.
But yeah, that was the game. It was the game she was playing. She was not mad. Okay, Nanny Aussie does not get mad.
No.
Right, I forgot about that. Because you were on that one day, and that was your favorite thing in the world. So you kept saying it a million times.
So Buster, I don't know if you know this, but my community decided to name my space cat. So my space cat name is Nan, which is European for Nana.
Yeah.
So now people call me Nana Osi. And so instead of having a kill cam or a kill count for my stream, we have OC naps. So I actually found a clip that actually says, when I get a OC nap, it actually says, "Oh right, you just want to take a nap." so and that's from Voice Attack. So I actually found that clip. So now it's all about the OC nap. So anyway, that was my bug. Sorry, a little off topic.
No worries. What about you, Gandar? What's your bug of the week?
All right, so I know we don't want to hear about the Carrick anymore, but I was in my Carrick, okay, and Dev.io, someone who plays with me every once in a while. He's also a streamer. You should check him out sometime. He wanted to land his dragonfly in my ship, and I was like, "Oh, cool! That's a great idea." So I opened it up.
That's a great idea.
He landed it in the top, and I was like, "That's an interesting idea. We'll see how this works out." Because for those of you who don't know, the dragonfly, it used to be able to like go a lot more vertical, but now it's like pretty well. It's a ground vehicle essentially. Hover mode vehicles behave a lot more like ground vehicles, so getting it back out of the hangar was a little bit of a concern. But he was like, "No, Ganzura, I'll figure this out," and I believed him because he generally figures things out. But I also knew it wasn't going to be good. So we went down to the planet, and I went into the third-person view. I opened up the hangar, and he started bumping into the side, and he told me to shake the ship a little bit. So I shook the ship a little bit. I turned it upside down, trying to shake him out like a sardine out of a tin can. And lo and behold, he disappeared from the ship. I didn't see him in the hangar anymore. And I was like, "Yo, cool, you're good, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess you could say that." And then I got out of my cockpit, and I could see he was wedged up in the main deck area. So half of the dragonfly was on the bottom floor, and the other half was on the top floor. So like, I guess he was able to clip through the wall, multiple walls, go all the way down the hall, and ended up sideways, lodged into the ceiling just above where the pilot sits, right behind the standing desk area. And so, we were trying to figure out how to get it out. I got into it, managed to like wiggle it, pry it out of the floor, and then it just fell through. And then being that it is a hover vehicle, it almost immediately exploded upon touching something.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
right?
That's what they do.
Then I woke up in the med bay, got out of the bed, and fell out of the ship onto the ground and broke my legs. So, yeah, I don't know. I blame him for all of that. Everything that I just described. I don't even blame CIG, okay? I shouldn't have let IO put a dragonfly in the top hangar. It was my fault. I did it bad. But that's my bug of the week.
Sounds like he was just trying to say hello to you. That's all. Just trying to come down, say hello, give you a warm greeting.
I mean, okay, so J Mitch, I don't blame them, but I think it's still a bug for the dragonfly to be able to drive through multiple walls, okay? That's where the bug is, J Mitch.
Well, as for myself,
yeah. I bet you got a story. Come on.
Well, I don't really have bug story. I don't really have an in-game story, to be honest. I have a snake in my oven.
I saw that.
Not in your oven, underneath your
oven.
Well,
yeah, under my oven.
Still there? Is it still there?
It's somewhere in my house. I'll figure it out.
All to the ground. Just
Hell no.
burn
Wait,
it all
I
down
thought
and
part
start
of your
over.
rules that it had to be a Star Citizen bug, not a snake underneath.
You know
your
what?
oven.
I forgot to mention this earlier.
Problem, okay?
I forgot to mention this earlier when I was talking about how it was this week, and I just wanted to bring the attention to like snake of the week. Snake of the week. The snake of the week is named sassafras, and nobody can quite tell if it's a rat snake or if it's a diamondback. So
I think most people on your
Twitter,
Twitter,
Twitter. You're talking about her viewers that way.
Yeah, let me pull it up here. I'll show it to everybody. I'll show everybody sassafras.
Most of them said it was
yeah,
rat
that's true.
Snake. Yeah.
You can't see its head here. I'll go to the media scene. You can't see its head because like, that's the angle I took the picture at, and I wasn't going to get too close to it. The thing is like, because you can't see the head, it did not have a round like a rattlesnake, like each snake type
like a rattlesnake to me.
Each snake type has like kind of its own shape of head that's somewhat unique to it. And
the head's like a guaranteed way to identify.
Yeah, and it kind of had a really like triangular head instead of kind of rounded out. And so I have a feeling it's probably a rattlesnake, but it's a very young rattlesnake because it's only like this long. It's not very long. It's maybe 6 to 8 inches, and it's just a little bitty baby. And
okay, now you're gonna call animal control, yeah?
Yeah, no, I mean I've already been in touch, but of course with all this going on right now, it's like hard to get a good snake wrangler, and for something so small, and you know what I mean. So like, and it's also the rain. If y'all don't know this, like oh, I'm sorry, we're missing. I didn't fix this scene. I didn't realize till just now that the scene is shot right now.
It's all about you.
That's perfect. It's fine.
Right, I can fix it.
I found a way to peek my head up.
I can fix it.
Like, ooh, that's a nice.
Why didn't y'all say it? Wait, Ron.
I thought this was kind of fun. I was like, ooh,
everything's going wrong right now. Why didn't he?
It's like Picasso art.
Oh, dude, and I get to be in 2 spots at the same time.
I'm sorry, I forgot to set the scene, though that you may be on the wrong names.
That's fine. It's fine. Now we're all gone.
That's the best way for me, just not there.
Yeah, I thought it was working out pretty well.
Yeah, you're all literally in the wrong names. That's okay. But anyway,
fancy.
Wow, nice.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
all
the support.
I was making fun of my shiny forehead, and I was like, I just pulled my hat down. Then I looked over, and I was like, oh, it literally is just the top of my head. That's what he's trying to say.
Shenanigans, yes, you got it.
Shenanigans. But I am gonna go back to the.
We're very serious people, right, guys?
Right.
Yeah, very serious.
Okay, cool. I needed to make sure that I was on the right show.
But yeah, there's a snake in my house, everybody, and its name is sassafras. And I hope it's not venomous, and it leaves when it's nice and not raining anymore. The rain always brings them inside.
Either way, if you run out of food, snakes could eat as long as you don't eat the poisonous bits.
If they want to catch, like, it's so young, it's at the bug catching phase of its life. So if it wants to catch bugs from that come up from the creek, that's fine with me.
You just don't want to deal with it when it gets bigger.
Yeah. It's a little bitty baby.
I've seen a fair number of rattlesnakes, and that definitely does look
right.
Like a
it's something.
Go wrangle it yourself.
Yeah.
It's.
That's actually not a good idea.
It's also like,
and luckily she seems like she's really with it. If you get her all hyped up, though, she's gonna go do it, and it's you with that.
I'm just gonna get that thing out here when I can, and I've been keeping certain parts of the house like little warm spots so that it'll attract to it. So if I just keep like a warm, if I keep my oven warm at a low degree, it'll stay in that little shelf. So
you got a batleth, right, Buster?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean somewhere.
No, it's got like the back on it. You could just pick it up that way. It's perfect.
Oh, once I catch her again, once she's back in that drawer again, because she was in there this morning, and then she wasn't there this afternoon. But once she's back in that drawer again, I'll just broom her out of the house.
I'm picturing someone gently picking up a snake with a batleth, because like the back of it's kind of like those sticks that you use as a snake catcher.
Yeah, kind of. But it'd be really impractical and sharp.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt it. I don't want to hurt it. It just want it to go away.
Well, good luck.
I used to catch them when I was a kid, but like, I was a really daring kid. I'm not a daring adult when it comes to that kind of thing. So if I could, if I knew for sure it was just like some whatever snake, I'd catch it and just,
Yeah,
back
a
outside.
broom actually does work pretty well. Boom kind is, or you can just call animal control.
Yeah, that's the thing
they're pretty good about dealing with that kind of stuff.
We made a couple calls today, and with the virus stuff going on, it's just been a little tough for them. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, because everybody's getting snakes in their house because of the rain. So it's a Texas thing. It's Texas.
Yeah,
it's Texas. You just get snakes in your house once in a while. But anyway, let's move on from the snake in my house. Let's talk about Star Citizen again. Bug of the week. But bug of the week is for me really is just 30Ks. I just been getting 30Ks. That's really about it.
Gotcha.
So the next thing is moment of the week. This is kind of different. Moment of the week is just like you could have been watching somebody's stream and they had a really great moment that you wanted to share with the class, or it can be like in your own stream, or it can be just non-stream related, but somehow Star Citizen, like if it was watching a piece of Star Citizen content and something funny happened or something great happened, like whatever, just a Star Citizen related moment of the week. I swear it won't be my snake this time. So I'll just start with Gandora this time since he spoke last.
Okay. So I actually successfully traded for the first time in probably over 6 months. Right, like a lot like Aussie, I generally avoid trade. I've been burnt so many times with 30Ks and spawning inside of asteroids and all that stuff. And I hate big, slow ships. Like, I hate trade ships with a passion. I like to fly fast, and I have so many fast ships that I always forget that I'm in a trade ship. And then I'm like, I'm all the way in the red, heading towards the place where I need to land. Then I'm like, time to slow down, time to slow down, time to slow down. And then with all my money in it, right? So, yeah, no, I think I made over 300K.
Hell yeah.
Just in trade in one play night session. And like, for me, that's a big deal. I normally hemorrhage money all the time when I play, and I just like, the best case I can really do is be like, I have enough money that I've earned from doing bounties to expedite, and then maybe I earned enough to buy like one gun, like, and then my credit balance will wipe. Like, that's usually my experience in the game, is like, because I like to do what I enjoy, right? And until I feel a little bit safer trading, I normally don't enjoy trade. It's stressful to me, and I don't get to go fast while I'm doing it, right? Like, I don't mind risk if like the gameplay feels really fun, but like, I was proud that I stuck through it, and I talked to my viewers so that I could relax about the fact that I was doing trade. And I just traded, and I only lost 70K out of the some almost 400 that I made total that night. So it was good stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
What about you, J-Fish?
So it's kind of a common theme. I just started getting into trading myself. Normally I try and vary my gameplay loops of what I do. So for a while I'll do, PvP, PvE, bounty stuff. But I was doing mining for a while, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and picked up a caterpillar, a pirate caterpillar, and started using that. And for the first time in the year I've been playing this game, I cracked 2 million credits. So in the past 2 weeks, I've made like about 1.5 million credits. So for me, that was really kind of interesting, and I got to the point where I was comfortable with having 300,000 credits in my ship, and if I died, I was like, that sucks. Give me 3 hours, and we can make that back.
Right on. That's pretty cool, though. I don't do the money stuff like y'all been talking about, and so it's like I just make bounty money. All my money's made off of bounties, and I got almost 3K or 300K. I'm really dedicated to bounties. So that's just me, but that's pretty cool though. I'm glad that both of y'all are making some money in the verse right before a wipe. Good job. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? It's all gonna go away.
I have a feeling, yeah, it's gonna wipe this time. It's gonna wipe this time.
I think they've confirmed it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got to all the dupe stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Aussie?
You know, I don't really have. Well, I mean, I have a big moment. I mean, I got to be on the yacht club last week, so that was actually a big thing. We've been trying to get me on there for like 3 months.
They're good guys, though. They're good guys. They're fun.
Yeah,
they're
it was
fun.
good. It was.
They do a good
it was
show.
a good show. Yeah. So I was really happy about that. But as far as in game, you know, like I said, I'm, you know, pretty much, you know, bounties and mercenary jobs only. So, you know, I have fallen in love with my Eclipse. I love that thing so much now. So I guess that's my dream ship now, the Eclipse. So, yeah, not really too many big moments other than the yacht club and me just doing really well on bounties. So,
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess moment of the week for me.
Yeah, Buster.
I guess moment of the week for me is I just had it. I just had it in my brain. Oh, Vertigo came into my stream the other day and he wanted me to sing Safety Dance, and I didn't understand at the time like why. And he just like wanted me to sing he just came and he's like, "Will you sing Safety Dance?" And I was like, "Okay." And like people can spend channel points in my stream and make me sing a song. Like they can do it like 3 times per stream. But like Vertigo just came in and just asked. So it worked out. Like, and then he promised me that like he was like, "Look, next time you come watch me, just tell me sing Safety Dance and I'll do it." And he did it. He did it. So we serenaded each other with the Safety Dance. So that's and like as far as like more of an in-game thing, what is it? I did something the other day. It's been such a weird week, guys. I'm forgetting everything. I've had 3 rearrangements on my nail appointment, and I had like a freaking snake in my house. Like my brain is just, I got snake brain, guys. No, but I mean, it's been an interesting week. Oh, I did come help Nerd Show and Tell. At some point, like he was fighting a bunch of people, and I was on a server, and they were getting kind of salty in chat, and so I went over there and just pulled at least pulled 1 or 2 of them off of him for a minute, so he could have, you know, because they were, I guess the bug right now is like the repair bug or something. There's a repair bug. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, he stopped. Like I messed with, I helped him out, so that was a good moment this week. But anyway, let's get into one little announcement, and then we'll go into the CIG news. Which the announcement is we have new probationary members of the night crew. 2 of them are here. Can you guess? Can you guess, chat? It's Gandora and it's Jayfish. So welcome, guys.
Oh, I thought it was me.
But we also have Idril Frostfoot as well. She's not obviously on the show tonight, but she is our other probationary member. So welcome to the night crew, guys. I hope you go beyond being probationary members and you become full-time members. But it's good to have you guys, and it's always, pardon me, it's good. We needed a couple more people, so good to have you guys. Glad you're here.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
But let's move into CIG shows and news. So this week in Star Citizen was Stella Fortuna, which is St. Patrick's Day. It's in lore, it's called Stella Fortuna. In real life, it's St. Patrick's Day. So on the website they call it St. Patrick's Day, but in the game they call it Stella Fortuna because they don't want to, like, apparently like one of their things is they want to be able to wean the new players into understanding the holidays over time. But whatever. So but yeah, so there's a special on, what is it, those Emerald Ursa rovers, if I'm not mistaken.
I really want that Emerald Ursa, but
yeah,
I just can't afford it. I have, you know, a Carrick now.
What is it? Isn't there that? Are they selling that Connie, that Emerald Connie?
Only in a package.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
have
only-
limited
yeah.
sales.
Yeah,
of-
my boyfriend has,
Yeah.
I think, one of those old packages that he
Yeah,
wanted the
it's-
Emerald Connie really
yeah.
bad years ago.
You got Emerald Connie, Emerald Ursa, Emerald
P52.
P50. Is it the P52 or the
Mhm.
P72? Okay.
I think it's
The 72. Our
Is it
comedian
72?
P72. Yeah.
Yeah, the 72 is the faster one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can get some green ships, guys. It's gonna be fun.
It's
You can get ships that are the color of my eyes.
Like that it
Mine
is a
too.
nice LTI token at $35 though. Like so
It is.
So grabbing a $35 ship
Ooh, I might
and
do
getting
that.
LT on it is not
Yeah.
a terrible idea. They're not they haven't been available for store credit in a while, so the only way you can get a hold of
Yeah.
most of these is to put new money into the game. If you're looking for a token, it's a good option.
It is a
Yeah.
good option. Just remember that your melt value might be a little bit different if you try to upgrade it or something like that. So just be careful with it.
Yeah.
So
And the other thing to keep in mind, as someone who owns that ship, it does not have a quantum drive,
Right.
Mhm.
so
it's a snub fighter.
it's a snub fighter. But some of the other snub size ships have quantum drives.
The Pisces.
Yeah. So the 85X is one that comes to
Yeah.
mind in particular.
Yeah.
And so it's just something to keep in mind. It's a really fun ship to fly. But if you, let's say that you were to take it from, you can pull it out in an orbital station and take it down to a planet. But then finding your way back, you literally have to look in the sky and see the station to be able to find your way back.
Right.
So that is the difficulty there.
Mhm.
But as long as you're aware of that, it's a really fun ship to fly. It's very fast, which I enjoy personally.
Yeah, it is. And it sounds cool in atmosphere. Like when you're just standing on, like some of you're just standing on the
Yeah.
ground near one, and it like passes overhead. It sounds pretty dope. But yeah, it's just a cool ship. So guys, make sure you check out the website for the Stella Fortuna sales going on this week. If there's anything you're interested in, you can buy one of those things that you're interested in. I might be giving away one of those tonight, later after the stream, in my own channel. But yeah, so. So let's see. What else do we have on the docket? So we have a big one to talk about, which was the return of Calling All Devs. I made some notes. I watched it today. I hadn't actually watched it yet. I saw some of it live the other day, but I hadn't just sat down and watched the whole thing. So I watched the whole thing today before we did this show. And kind of the things that I'm just going to go over the notes I have real quick, guys, and then we can just kind of have a discussion from there, I think. But I just wanted to kind of have like an overview for chat. So it was the Squadron 42 Calling All Devs, so they just exclusively talked about Squadron 42. So they had Brian Chambers on first, who talked about the restructuring of CIG. Like he kind of explained who he is, and how he used to be something like director of development or something like that, and then he became VP of development, and how the restructuring of CIG kind of led him into that position, and how creating the position of studio managers freed him up to focus on development more. And Squadron 42 roadmap, like one of the things he talked about needs kind of a rethinking of how to apply it, how to restructure it, how to make it make sense without giving spoilers. They talked a lot about spoilers with Squadron 42 throughout the whole thing. That was a theme that seemed to come up a lot. Was they like there's a lot, they kind of over different people were kind of expressing the similar thought of, hey, there's like a lot going on. It's doing good. It's just that we need to figure out a way to give you guys information without spoiling it. And so that's and because Brian Chambers talked about that, and then Xylo came on with him at one point, like the last couple minutes of that of Brian Chambers, and he essentially talked about how the community team is looking into new ways to share info yet not spoil things. And they're just working on, they're kind of experimenting with some new ways to communicate to the community too. So that's pretty cool. And then
for me, like, do you guys agree? I felt like the whole focus on them talking about how they were trying to avoid spoilers really, it took away from them actually
show.
doing real content. Like that was like, I swear it was 20 of the 40 minutes was talking about how they didn't want to give spoilers.
I
Like,
would I would
that's the way
agree
it
with
felt to
it,
me.
but at the same time, like I get that they're trying to drive a point to the community, and it's like 5 or 6 different people coming on without have talking to the others and saying the same thing, because that's obviously like at the forefront of their minds is like across all boards is like we don't want to spoil the game.
I think that's probably drilled into them too before they go on to these things is make sure you're not, dropping something that we don't want you to drop.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that CIG kind of like maybe asks their employees to take like a 3-month break from social media for the first 3 months they work for CIG, because like they just don't want accidents. But that's something I've heard. I'm not saying it's true, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it just felt like a 40-minute apology video as opposed to having enough content. That's my opinion. I'm not against the idea of them giving us more information, but like, I really wish they had like planned it a little bit better with each other and just said, hey, here are some things we can actually release, instead of each of them coming on and saying, I can't say anything. Right, like there were little snippets and stuff, but like that's really how it felt to me. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but like that's really how it felt.
I don't think you're rude. I think you made a good point. Is it did sound like an apology video the whole way through, and it was like I've watched up to the 32 mark, and I learned nothing almost, so
I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I learned a lot, but at the same time, I kind of get what you're saying, though. There was a lot of, hey, we can't spoil stuff.
They did give us some information about the changes internally to the way they're running things. They talked some about how they're working internally, team-wise, with each other, and how they're pushing out AI into the verse itself.
Yeah, because
right.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah, because like next on the docket of it, we had Nick. I'll just start with that because that's a good point to talk about him. Nick Elms came on. He's creative director, and he basically one of the things I thought that was interesting that he said that he is the steward of Chris's vision. So he's like, Chris is like the thinker, and he's the one that goes out and says, "Okay, you got this, you got that." Like he's like the like what is it, like a captain? Like if you're thinking like kind of in like mafioso terms, like. You got the boss, and you got the captains, and then you got the lieutenants, and it's like he's kind of really the consigliere. It sounds like a little bit. So, and then like he talked about how there's split design teams on the game for FPS, and there's a ship and dogfights team and a social team. He talked about SC and Squadron 42 in tandem with each other. Like there's a lot, like pretty much any part or piece that's in Star Citizen as it is right now is also in Squadron 42. And one of the most interesting things that I thought he had to talk about, this is where I felt I learned a lot, was that the female character will have a slightly different playthrough than the male character. They talked about nuance.
Yeah,
they talked about there was going to be some nuance.
I really thought was cool.
Mm-hmm. They talked about, because they really wanted to achieve that even in Star Citizen itself, not necessarily in the social gameplay so far, but at least in like the way they built the female model itself, like the skeleton and everything. And so it's cool that they're taking it even a step further. And it's not just a swap of a body in those scenes. It's like, no, you're gonna get some slight subtle, like kind of just some subtle nuance, like of difference between how it plays out. So
that gives you a nice replayability too with a single player campaign, because you can go ahead and try and experience it from both ends of that spectrum.
I think that was like one of the appeals of Mass Effect, of like playing like a male ship and a femme ship, because you had like generally there were different but overlapping like romance options in the game and things like that, and just some subtleties. And honestly, I mean, like let's be honest, the femme ship's voice was way better than male ship's voice.
Yeah.
When I think of Mass Effect, I think of Fem Shep's voice, and I played the male character many times, and I just was never as impressed with the voice acting on that.
I'm excited for some of the things they were describing about like basically your behaviors inside cutscenes and conversations, being able to walk away and piss someone off and have them hold a grudge against you. That kind of stuff leaves a lot of replayability. I'm interested to see how well they can actually pull it off.
Right.
But that part was interesting for sure, right? Like there's a lot of interesting stuff. My personal feeling about the whole roadmap issue is that they can just say how close they are to releasing.
Yeah, some
a
people have
section.
basically said they just want a basic progress bar.
Yeah,
And
just
I'm
a
like,
basic
yeah,
progress bar.
but
Like
at
that.
the same time, like, you know, like think about how Star Citizen is, right? Like you step forward into a new patch, but you have bugs from like 3 patches ago sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of leap
Yeah.
forward, take a couple steps back. You know, that's kind of seems to be the thing that happens. And I could see it that format not really working well from Squadron because maybe it kind of comes up on some of the same issues. You know what I mean? As they get through
even
things,
even
but
if you just said, hey, they have a big Jira board, okay, or whatever they're using in the back end. We don't have to know the names of the tickets. I just want to see how many are getting completed and how many are left over, right? I want to see the burn rate. I want to see, like, as someone who's invested very heavily in this game and really wants it to succeed, you know, that's something easy to pull off. Then people will be like, well, I want to know more about those tickets. And then they could be like, most of them have spoilers. So we have this basic metric. As a developer myself, and as someone who runs as a project manager in software development, that metric alone would tell us a lot more about how we should feel about confidence in hitting goals and stuff. And it's something they could talk to without it giving spoilers at all. We finished X amount of tickets this month. We expected X, right? Or Y,
yeah.
right? That's really good information, completely spoiler free. That's, if anyone from CIG is watching, that's a really great way to do it. That's why I wanted to communicate that there. And you know, people will always want more, right?
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who doesn't care about spoilers as much because I'm still going to enjoy playing it, but I'm not everyone. And that's fine. So I understand that we want to keep the plotline story, like the plotline based type stuff, unspoiled, but having some of the core tech stuff isn't really going to bother us. And knowing how effective the team is working, it's just, it gives us that sense of inner peace of knowing, okay, it is still coming, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and hopefully you know, like they really did discuss like a lot about how they're trying to like tackle the problem and they are rethinking about it. So it's not like it's just something like they just mentioned it and they're like, yeah, we got to fix that, but they're like legitimately like,
yeah,
we are thinking about how we're going to fix this. So I always have faith in CIG, especially like when it's somebody like Brian Chambers talking about it, because it's like, okay, Brian's pretty like solid. You know, he just needs some time to think about it, figure it out. But also with that episode, we got to see Francesco Roccucci. I think I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't, Mr. Roccucci. But he talked about AI problems, just kind of like he just kind of basically explained like how AI works in general, and then how it works in Star Citizen. And he specifically spent some time talking about the bartender and how the bartender is more than just a bartender. It's like kind of the gold standard for them of social AI, and I guess the bartender's like the gatekeeper of really making that a thing for them, like a really big part of the game. And so the bartender is why they have so much focus on it, even though everybody kind of groans about it. But it's not just a feature, right? It's like legitimately something that they really want to expand in the verse. And
I want that bartender in the PU personally.
yeah, that'll be cool. I mean, it'll be cool to see like a bartender actually mixing drinks in a game, and it like, you know, it's not just like, you know what I mean? Like it's always like the same assets just with slightly different colors. You know what I mean? Like I hope it's legitimately like a really really well thought out, and it sounds like it is. So, but based on how excited they are, but Nate Dearsley also came in at the end, and he talked about that trailer that was released at Christmas for all of us this year. That was like kind of like the gift they gave the community this year, was showing off that little trailer of like just some stuff from Squadron, and he talked about like again working around the spoilers when he was in the, because he just made that video like a 10-minute video of footage for CIG itself, And then Chris was like, "Hey, let's cut this down. Let's edit it so we can send it out to the backers. We want to show it to them." Which I thought was cool the way he described that. Like it sounded like Chris was like, "Dude, we need to show this to the backers. Like this is freaking sick," kind of attitude. And yeah, and he talked about like there won't be a lot of visual fatigue in Squadron 42 because they really put a lot of diversity into locations. And he talked about really he said he felt like it's really starting to come together. The game is really starting to come together, and he used words like refreshing, and talked about reviewing it, and like he just was like he feels like they're just about to start hitting that curve where they're about to start shooting up into the sky. Like it's really starting to get, it's really the rug's tying the room together. Jeff got his, the dude got his rug in the house. So, and then they gave us a little sneak peek of that station at the very end. So, with all that said, I just wanted to go through the rest of what was talked about. Like, since I mentioned some more stuff, like what else did you guys think toward the end of that as well, with Deersley and Rokuchi?
Jayfish, you haven't talked in a while. Why don't you give us your opinion?
mean, so for me, it's a little different. I don't own Squadron 42, but when I see these things, it's also under the understanding that what we get in Squadron 42 is eventually going to translate over into Star Citizen, into the PU. So anything that is going to go ahead and increase the AI and how they act, how they look, and all of that, and you're not going to have scoundrels standing on furniture every 5 seconds and T-posing all over the place, is wonderful to me.
So you're presuming that the future doesn't look like that?
I certainly hope so. Otherwise, apparently everyone lost manners.
First scene in Squadron is some dudes
know.
protesting by standing in the chairs.
Yeah, that's what I
true.
say.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm on this, I say that. It's like, oh look, the workers are protesting again.
Yeah,
They're having a some type of strike.
I like the cult members outside of New Deal. All the guys lined up in front of the where you claim your ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm like, wouldn't that be a
don't know.
great way to establish your dominance in a DMV? Just like stand on the chair and T-pose.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I like to think that where they're standing in a line where you're looking at the ships and think they're all happy to see me. It's like, oh wow, look at this audience. Oh yay! I don't know.
Or your Siamese guards you got standing down there where you got people just fused together.
Well, that's a good time, okay?
Yeah.
That's true.
What I like is like when they stand like really close to each other and clip into each other a little bit, and it looks like they're holding hands. I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
My favorite is I'll see like a lone NPC and she's standing on top of a chair, and so I'll stand next to her and look over at her, and you can see that her eyes just like wander over to you, and she's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing here?"
She's becoming aware. She's becoming self-aware.
Like what? Yeah, but they'll look over at you and they'll make this face like, "What's going on?" And I'm like,
I just want to stand here on my chair. Why are you bothering me?
But yeah, it's
not a chair dweller, Gandora.
But yeah, like in conclusion, though, I think it was for an inaugural like return of Calling All Devs. I thought they did a good job. They had, I mean, like you said, it was some of it was kind of an apology video. If we're sorry we can't show you enough because of spoilers, but at the same time, like it was still like I said, like there was. I feel like I think we each took something away from it other than just the spoiler conversation. Like I said, my big thing was the female experience of the female character experience can be slightly different.
There was definitely content. It's just I think that
so much of it was
like reiterating an apology over and over again just drives the point home to the point where you're going to get more salt from the same people that you're apologizing to. And so I just wanted to air it out and just say, hey, it probably wasn't the best approach, because even if it had just meant that it was a 25-minute video, like once you've apologized for not having more to reveal once or twice, just cut out the extra stuff. It was a YouTube video, right? Like they
Yeah.
did edit and in post, right? And it's the same thing I say when like someone comes in to play with me and they screw up and then they come back later and then they want to have like a 10-minute conversation about how they screwed up. And I'm like, no, dude, it's all good. Let's just not do it again. Right? Like it's all, and
It's
that's
fine.
Yeah, like that's just my perspective on it. It's like once you've apologized once, dwelling on it too much just takes away from what you're actually delivering.
Yeah.
And I think they've got a lot of awesome stuff coming out. I hope that we'll actually see it this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? And yeah, I want to see that bartender behavior coming out just like Fish does. I like that they push these things in to get refined into the PU, and but you know, I don't like things like the Idris not getting released even though it's ready, right? That kind
Yeah.
of stuff where you have like, oh, is there a special gun that we're not releasing to the PU because of the fact that it's a spoiler that you get that gun special? I'm like, come on, guys, like some of the things that you consider a spoiler, these are just things that people will be excited to get. You're gonna know it exists. It's not gonna spoil the game because of the fact that you happen to be on an Idris. Now maybe like the Idris M, you could say, hey, we're not releasing the Idris M. We're just releasing the Idris P, which is a civilian variant, so that you'll still have the excitement of the particular layout of the Idris M, right? And the Idris M is already a more restricted ship anyways. Then everyone who has an Idris M would get an Idris P. Cool. That's a solid approach. Like, how do you guys feel about the fact that, like, I don't think any of us in this room own an Idris, but
I don't.
put yourselves in the position of someone who owns it and think about the fact that now everyone is going to have a mission on how to destroy that ship before they even get to fly it.
Eh. It's fine. We finally have a boss in Star Citizen.
I'm excited for that mission. Don't get me wrong, but like,
but I get what you're saying.
Done,
like, I don't know if it was me,
right?
I'd be like, I wouldn't be as worried about it honestly, because you can swap components out, you know. When it's out in the
also,
game,
you have
playables.
AI versus human mechanics. I mean, most of
Yeah.
the people that have the Idris have an actual crew, so it's going to fly way differently, and you may not actually be able to beat it like you do a total AI. So I don't know.
And I always kind of have the policy with that kind of stuff, like when an actual human being is piloting it, it's so random
It's
what's going to happen.
different. Yeah,
it's 100% different. There's no predictability.
Well, they're just going to hit a rock anyway. It's going to be a way shorter.
It's going to be awesome.
I can just imagine if I was on the bridge of an Idris, I'd just ram everybody. That's what I would do.
There you go.
Well, you move too slow to do it, though. That'd be the problem. But anyway, let's get on to ISC real quick. Let's just get over there real fast. Sure. We have we had some stuff happen in ISC this week. I'll just go over them real quick, and then we can just kind of discuss from there. But CIG did talk about the coronavirus and how it's affecting them. I'm glad that they did that. I had a feeling once we saw Jared actually sitting down, I was like, oh, we're getting set down, and we're gonna get talked to a little bit here. And it wasn't too real. It was just he just basically said, like, you know, they're basically having to work from home more often, and that's kind of the thing that they said, that he basically was like, we will not stop. Like, this isn't going to hold us back from delivering right now. So we'll see how they do, and I wish him all the best. And CIG, you know, seriously, from a, you know, I think a more like personal standpoint for all of us here on the crew, like, please do stay indoors, take care of yourselves, you know, do what you got to do. We get it. We're all there right now. We're all here. But so CIG, so they're dealing with the coronavirus stuff. But they did, for the actual content, they talked about the improvements that are coming to the inner thought system. They showed us a sprint report and space whales. And then they gave us a sneak peek of the prisons in those soft body tarps, though. Those soft body tarps.
Oh my gosh.
What? That was funny.
They look great.
I was laughing at him so hard.
He was all about those soft body tarps.
Let me go to the media scene so we can kind of get a visual look-see-loo at this. And in the meantime, I'll move all you into the right place. So, so what did you guys think of this week's ISC in general? Just whoever wants
In
to
general,
start.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty okay. It wasn't bad.
I thought we had some good stuff. I have thoughts on the flywheel of a comment they made on that. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah. If I can get into that for a quick second, they made one comment of that how they said it was more. I don't think they said it was more intuitive and like quicker acting. I just can't, at least until we get our hands on it, I can't find that to be the case. That flywheel is going to be more intuitive than at least what it is right now in terms of I hit F, I look, okay, there's what I want, I click on it. Now I gotta hit F, I gotta go to this, and then I gotta go to this sub menu, and then find it here, and then there's what I want. So I think it's gonna be more of a learning curve, I guess, and maybe it'll be different once we actually get our hands on it. But to me, they made a specific comment stating how it's going to be, quicker and more intuitive to what you're trying to do, and I can't see that as being the case.
I actually agree with you on a lot of ways. I think finding things might be better. Like I don't know what all the things are for, emotes in the game. So I think finding that would be better because I could just go down to the social wheel and then find what I'm looking for. But it reminds me, it actually reminds me of a console layout. So, and you know how most people feel about, console layouts versus PC layouts. Like, I think me hitting F is fine. Me going to a scroll wheel and trying to get up is more clunky and
that was
not
that was a
needed.
big one.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'll be using it. I actually like turning my head to exit the ship. Or I like using my game glass, and I hate to say that, but me going into a scroll wheel to do the exact same thing just seems awkward. So it doesn't seem natural.
I will say there are some ships that are really poorly laid out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
being able to use this in, like, as long as they don't get rid of the ability to push the buttons in the ship,
I'm worried
I'll
about
be okay.
that. So
I'm worried about losing that, like, high depth granularity of interaction with my spaceship that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Right. Like, as long as that's not what's happening, then I think it'll be okay. I think that it makes sense that they're opening it up to other types of controller input. I've had players that seem pretty excited for the idea of being able to use like an Xbox controller to play the game.
I actually used an Elite controller for several years before I switched over to dual sticks. So I absolutely think that it would be great for that kind of setup. I like and I got the Elite controller just for Star Citizen because you can change all the profiles and all that kind of stuff. So it's really great. I think I don't want to lose the ability to be immersive because that scroll wheel is not immersive at all. And that will ruin my gameplay if I can't do my immersive exit, or I can't, punch a button on, my spaceship and I have to use everything on the scroll wheel. So that for me is just gonna ruin it.
That's why I like Game Glass, because Game Glass is supposed to have like shards for that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I haven't used Game Glass in a while, but at the same time, like it mostly because it's like a giant iPad on my desk. But but if I had like a better place to mount that or have that, like I would use it all the time because that's so much more convenient, like to use in the first place.
I love
and it's immersive to the game.
Yeah, it is. Except for the horn on the vehicle.
I love the horn.
I think it's terrible.
It's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of Game Glass. Game Glass is my favorite part is the horn. When you're in a ground vehicle, you can honk a horn.
It's the clown horn.
Yeah,
it's the
really
clown
funny.
horn from the Cars,
Okay.
So yeah, it's terrible. I use it because it's funny, but it's not immersive at all. It's like, can you imagine being in an Ursa rover using a clown horn car, honking.
Yeah, that's what I
No.
would put
I'd
on
do
it.
it.
What's the
No.
one from the Dukes of Hazzard?
Are you?
Yeah,
Too
there you
serious,
go.
Oh, that would be great.
Aussie. Way too serious.
My favorite
All
my
right.
favorite honk, like, okay, since we're on the subject of horns real quick, my favorite horn in television or media in general is what's his Strickland. I can't remember his first name.
Strickland?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Strickland from
Mr.
from King of the Hill. Mr. Strickland, Buck Strickland. Buck Strickland's horn, when he play, it's like it plays the first few notes of a Yellow Rose of Texas.
Oh yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's the
Yeah.
best horn to have.
There you go.
You get to play
That's
the Yellow
that's a
Roses.
good one. That's a good
It
one.
just goes da 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 da, like it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I agree.
Nighthawk. I want that one too. I want Cheech and Chong's
Oh, that's a
horn
good
on
one.
my.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I don't need a serious horn, okay? There's only one reason I'm pushing
Okay.
it. I want attention.
I'm sorry. I love my lore, and I love being immersed in the game that is my retirement game. So I'm sorry if people think that I'm, too much of
Honestly,
a
that's
OC
fine.
nana.
We need both of us. My horn wouldn't be as funny if you had the same horn, okay?
That's true. That's true.
You need the counterbalance.
Yeah, no, if there aren't just a crap ton of serious players around me, my little clown car sound just isn't going to have the kind of impact I need.
Well, real quick, because we just came up on this part of the video, and
Yeah.
I just, since it's like kind of going over, it's showing us the visual side of it without the audio. I just want to talk about it. One of my favorite
love this
things,
stuff.
one of my favorite things ever in ISC videos is sprint reports. And this sprint report I thought was particularly great, showing us some of the like the food places coming in game where we can actually get food from in this next patch. And then he showed us like some new guns that were coming, and I swear there was some clothing or something. Oh, there was like a pair of characters.
Yeah, the security clothing, that was really good. I
Well,
like that.
there's a pair of characters, I guess, coming later in the game,
Yeah.
and and they looked freaking sick. Like it was their first
They
pass.
do. They look great.
And I love these lightning guns. I cannot wait for this. This is gonna
Yeah,
be my
those look pretty
favorite
good.
thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
At
I
first,
agree.
I was like the visual of it, like the side thing, like this. Like I thought
No,
this
that
was
looks-
so weird. It made me think
That
of
looks
like.
badass.
Well, no, that was
Actually,
the thing.
that reminds me of something from Fallout.
Yeah.
Well, what it reminded me of was octopus. Like like when an octopus they have those little suckers on the
Oh,
on
God.
the underside of
It
their
does kind of
tentacles.
look like, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like that to me. And then like I was like, what? Why does it even look like this? And then like the next shot comes up. Give it a second.
Mm.
Oh wait, go one more second here. Come on, there. And then it made sense because I was like, oh, like an electric charge needs to travel through it, and they just made a cool.
Yeah.
They basically created a way for it to be like super badass looking.
Yeah. Obviously, that's the most dangerous way to design your gun. Like,
yeah.
I
Like,
would die using that gun.
Open
for
electrical
sure.
charge running.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you
it
know,
looks badass.
I guess like I guess those suits are made of rubber, right? Like,
Yeah, you're grounded.
except when you
But
shoot
no-
somebody, but then theirs isn't made of
No,
rubber
but you
anymore.
got your face right up against that spot that's glowing right there. Okay, I'm just saying, like, it's all good.
Like,
It's
you
okay.
can't
Give
have
you
a beard.
tan. It's
Hey,
fine.
I figured it out. I know why the custom characters for males don't have beards. It's this gun.
There you
There
go.
you go.
know?
Yeah, they'll get it singed right off. You don't want to current up in your beard. But yeah, it just looks freaking. It just looks super rad, and like the different ways they like would have it like fire. Oh man, I'm pumped for that gun. Those guns. Like I really.
I hope they can change the color.
No,
Wouldn't that be
oh,
badass?
that would be cool. Like
Purple.
Yeah, yeah.
like have a purple, have purple
Have
lightning.
crystals. Switch it up.
And then they kind of showed us like the suits and stuff, and kind of like a little scene of like the prison environment, which looks pretty
Mhm.
cool. I mean, like and I have to admit, like the butts somehow look better. The dude butts look better in those
Butts
suits.
look better.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way they're cut. And no, here's what I was really excited about was these two.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
I swear there's gonna be a couple doing this at CitizenCon. Like they're
Oh, I'm
already working
sure.
on it right now. Like
And watch them turn out to be brother and sister.
those make me think of like those those collars make me think of like the Vulcans in the newer Star Trek movies, like the way they wear their collars on their jackets and stuff. Yeah, that made me think of that. But
I mean, those outfits are badass.
Those are cool. Like, I would love to see somebody at CitizenCon in that, if it's not me. So, and if it was me, it would have a whole different color scheme. It would not be gray. Sorry, Jay Lee. I love you, Jay Lee, but you know me, buddy.
It'd be bright gray.
I would love my earth tones. I love my earth tones. I'm sorry.
I'm garish, flash and trash kind of colors. Flat, not trash as in trash. I'm just been like flash and trash is like a lighting term, like a rock and roll show where you're just flashing and trashing the lights because you're flashing them, but you're also like trashing them because you're trashing the gel because the gel's gonna be burnt out by the end of the show. So that's where it comes from. So yeah, like colors to burn your eyes. That's the kind of person I am. But that just looks so slick. I love the jacket. I love everything. The texture. Oh, and space whales.
You with a big bejeweled version of that.
Oh yeah. You know, like the K-pop version.
It's all bedazzled.
But here was...
as much as I love the purple space whale, I don't think it would sit well in space as far as color scheme. So I think that the other than purple, because they were talking about whether or not they're gonna color it one way or the other. So,
or maybe have like different packs or something, like, you know how whales travel in packs, like maybe like certain like genomes or families of whales like kind of have a different color scheme, or like male versus female, that kind of stuff. He's making me think of betta fish.
I also find that bioluminescence is really fun with like space creatures.
Oh, that would be cool. A bioluminescent whale. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
But this was whale 1, and here's whale 2. Whale 2 looks much more like wispy, you know, and it has kind of this interesting like zebra coloring on it. I don't like it as much. Like 1 and 3 were my 2 favorites. I really liked 3.
3 was my favorite. Yeah.
3 and 1 I think are similar in shape, but like I like the frayed edges of 3 more. And I do like the colors of it, but the thing is that oh my god, I'm gonna hit so many space whales on accident. Like that thing's gonna just like, you know, I'm gonna go through an asteroid field and then just think like, oh, it's just part of space, and then I'll be like, oh no, it's a whale. Oh no,
whole pack of space whales.
And it looks like they're gonna be pretty big.
Trying to figure out where space whales fit in. That's where it kind of just, I don't know, it got lost on me.
I figured they fit somewhere in space.
True, touche, but like, I don't know, it's me breaking that part of my brain where there's whales in space.
Okay,
and like
through
everything of this game, like that is for some reason what.
I'll explain this to you now, because clearly you so there's like references to space whales in what's the show, what's it called, the book series, Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a common, like it's like one of the creatures in the book, like it's like a whale falling out of the sky just at random because of stuff going on in the book. And so and I think there's other, I want to say there's other Star Trek has a space whale. Like it's kind of a thing that's occurred in a lot of science. Yeah, it's kind of a thing that's occurred in a lot of science, like famous science fiction. And so it's almost like an in-joke of the science fiction community, like, oh yeah, space whales.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, it's an exobiology concept of basically having, and they tend to be large enough that they could basically be self-sustaining. Some of them basically rely on, you know, absorbing dark matter or solar power. Basically, it's a big theme in sci-fi. So if you haven't seen it in sci-fi, Jayfish, I can point you to some episodes that were pretty entertaining after the show. But I think that's a lot of what I've seen in Star Citizen over the years is that they try and do a nod to most of the things that we know and love from sci-fi, which is part of the reason that it's drawn in so many people. Now, from your perspective, Jayfish, you're just saying, I don't know where it fits in Stanton or just in space in general.
No, just space in general. Also, I have never seen Star Trek at all.
Wow.
You're excommunicated from the night crew.
I
I'm just
knew
kidding.
Buster was gonna
No longer
tweak with that one.
Woo!
Yeah, no, it's just a thing that's like
Wow.
occurred in multiple, and of course Moby Dick. I mean, Moby Dick's like a really important book
Yeah.
in literature, and I think it's all probably to some degree inspired by that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a dumb, funny thing that people always do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, space. It makes sense to me. I mean, of course, there's going to be creatures. I mean, if you watch Star Trek, J Fish, I think the concept wouldn't bother you as much, to be honest.
It doesn't bother me. Like I said, it's just.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be so
different
alien
for
to you.
me, right? You know, seeing alien creatures on planets, stuff like that.
Right.
You know,
because that makes sense. Like, because there's atmosphere.
Right, that makes
yeah.
sense. But just having it floating out in space.
That's kind of the great thing about the cosmos is like literally anything else can be happening out there.
Very
like
true.
Anything. Like there could be creatures that can be there could very well be creatures in the in the universe that can like survive it without atmosphere. I mean, it's highly unlikely. It's not as like readily likely as something else like another human race essentially, but yeah, it's kind of one of those concepts of like being like it could be a thing. Like, so I think that's kind of where space whales come from. But real quick, to kind of get through more of this real quick, we can go back to some of that if we want to in a little bit. But they did talk about this thing with the bushes, which was cool, and how like basically they put bone structures in so that like when you, I guess they're trying to experiment with like if you walk over something or a ship or basically you interact with something like flora, like it could actually move according to how you move around it. So that was pretty cool. It was just really hypnotizing to watch this little dude do circle
it was, and the fact that they're using anatomy bones as a structure, I just thought that was really interesting. It's like I've never really heard anybody explain it that way before ever.
Yeah, and then they went over like the existing height map and basically how they're trying to create more diversity in the looks of things over time with just by basically editing these height maps and stuff like that. And you can kind of like, on the video they're really showing the differences, which looks more realistic. Like that looks like this looks cool and pretty, but then that looks like an actual place, And then they talked about some white box stuff for, I guess it's another line of space stations, which looked really neat. I'm just kind of skip through that, but that was pretty cool. I thought, and like he really talked about staggered development being important in creating stuff like this. I think that's toward the end. Oh yeah, and then we get to kind of they show off the prison, which I'll just let that play for a second. The little tour, it looks great. And of course the soft body tarps though. That's the best part. I love those. I love those because like you go to like grocery store, like or if you ever worked in a grocery store, they have those hanging down to like kind of help keep refrigeration in without having to have like a big giant door in the way of everybody. And that's what I was like, oh, is there like when I saw him going through it, I was like, oh, is this like a like a big refrigerator? Oh no, it's just an area that they're walking through, But yeah, so overall, like any other things to point out about ISC this week, guys? I'm sorry, I just like to kind of try to go through the topics and just let you all discuss. So like, what else about ISC caught your eye this week, or whatever?
Oh, I thought it was a good show this week. So.
Yeah, it was pretty juicy.
It was not a wasted 11 minutes. So.
Yeah, no, I think they actually covered a fair amount for that short period, and like I felt like it was a lot more meaty than what we experienced with the longer one. So. Yeah, a lot covered. I'm excited for certain elements of the upcoming patch. We'll see how they pull off the whole food and drink thing, right? I did notice it looked like that we may have to start off spawning on a planet now. Seemed like that was some of the stuff coming down the pipe. I don't know how I feel about that because I do feel it's a little overwhelming for new players to start on a planet. What's your thoughts on that? If you had just started and had to figure out the train system as like one of the first things you experienced in the game.
I don't think you necessarily have to start off on a planet. And personally, for me, I love the food and drink. for me, anything that adds more immersion into the game and draws me more into the game, I enjoy personally. But I mean, I feel like if you want to spawn at Grimhex, you want to spawn at Porto for some ungodly reason. I hate Porto. I mean, you should be able to get whatever you need there. So I don't think you necessarily have to spawn planet side.
I was just seeing something coming down the pipe that it looked like those other spots that were non-planetary had been taken off the initial spawn list.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So, we'll see if that's like permanent or if it was just for testing purposes. But for food, what do you guys think would be a reasonable amount of food and drink to have to worry about, since they've said that it's going to even consider when you're offline? What's a reasonable amount of food to have to eat and drink in an MMO before you die?
I need to eat all the time, personally.
It's hard. It's hard. You know, like all the games that I play, you know, that deal with the survival element, it's tough because sometimes you get a hindrance, like you have to eat every 30 minutes, and I hate that.
Yeah, that's way too much.
But then, you know, you think of it from, you know, an immersion standpoint, is like I eat every, you know, 3 to 4 hours. So maybe 5 would be reasonable. So I don't know. I hope that it never ends up to being, you know, you have to eat every, you know, 30 minutes. And like there was another video from last week, I guess it was, they talked about if you're sprinting all the time, then you have to eat more. And I agree with that. So if you're, you know, running around like an idiot all the time, then yeah, you're burning more calories, you have to eat more, you have to drink more. But that's an immersion point of view. But it can't be obnoxious, right? I mean, I've played obnoxious survival games before, and you know, eating every 30 minutes is just obnoxious. So, so I would say probably reasonable would be around 5 hours or so.
And that's
Yeah.
the plan,
At least for
right?
me.
Like it's
Yeah,
around
4 or
that would
5
be
hours.
pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, and that seems like kind of what they're kind of hinting at is they keep saying several hours, and I think it's like once every 3 or 4 hours or something like that. And I don't think that's unreasonable, because that gets you to at least do it once.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine they kind of averaged out, like they kind of figured out, okay, well, what's the average play session? But also, like I was saying last week, like it would help if they would truly define, okay, like, you know, 1 hour of real time equals X amount of time in Star Citizen, because that helps it make more sense. Because like if 3 or 4 hours of playing equates to like a day and a half, like 2 days or something, then I don't think that's too unreasonable. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna hold them up to like the actual like real life mechanics of eating, because they're just trying to encourage the players to use a new mechanic right now, and and of course it's V1, they might change like the time frame.
We're also perfected, biologically, genetically engineered individuals. So even if it's not true to what we experience right now, there is a little bit of flub factor that we can allow there. And like Aussie was saying, I think it's reasonable to have to eat more if you're more physically exerting yourself and stuff. My concern is just like you're sitting in a spaceship piloting for a couple of hours, and then your character just dies and you don't know why. And it's like, oh, he starves to death. That kind of stuff. Like, I've experienced that in other survival games. Luckily, this game is about a lot more than just the survival element. So hopefully it won't override the other experiences. And I've seen that message come across from their side, but that is my biggest concern, is when I expect they'll push it out, and then they're going to be doing a lot of tweaking like they usually do.
Yeah, I think they will too.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll have to add that mechanic into the HUD too. I mean, to be fair, you're going to have to do that, because like one of the bugs that I had is, you know, I ran for a little bit and then got stuck into that zone where I died of a heart attack, you know, in game. So, but I knew what was going on because it was on my HUD. It was monitoring my heart rate and went up to like 170 and stayed at 170, and I died of a heart attack. So they're going to have to add that kind of stuff to the HUD.
Yeah.
As far as being able to monitor it so that you're not sitting in your cockpit and then all of a sudden you die because of starvation. That would be silly.
I think
So
they
they're
showed
gonna
it,
have to
didn't
add
they?
what?
I think they showed that when they were showing last week or the week before when they were showing the snippets of eating and stuff, that
Oh,
there
maybe
is an
they did.
indicator on your HUD
Yeah.
for that.
Okay.
Yeah. There is
Okay.
an indicator on your regular on foot HUD. My concern is there's a lot of things that you don't have a HUD for, like when you're in the
Sure.
pilot seat. And I spend most
Yeah.
of my time in the pilot seat. So just
That's true.
but I also know that they've got other indicators that they're planning on having, and hopefully those will kind of exist even if you don't have a helmet or if you're not in the ship, right? Like, because
because clothes you don't have a HUD, when you're
yeah.
just in regular
Mhm.
clothes. So
they were talking about visual changes to the world, giving your character the shakes and stuff like that. Goes into the thermal stuff, and then they were talking about some other things that, like I remember watching one of the developers talking about how he had to like research all of the effects on your senses that are related to starvation and dehydration. So I'm looking forward to how they implemented those. I know that in the past they've put a lot of depth into it. Think about the way they have red outs, gray outs, and blackouts, and that you can actually tell what direction your G forces are based on what color your red out, blackout, or gray out is. So I hope that we'll get some kind of visual like that, that even if you don't have a HUD in the particular circumstance you are, that it'll be a cue to those who get enough experience in the game.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, like I said, like, I agree with Osipita about like eating or drinking like every 30 minutes or so can be really annoying. But overall, like, I mean, to me, like, what's the point? Like, they put all this beautiful work into like these R&Rs and making these really visually appealing, like places to actually buy food, like the little burger stands, little like juice stands and stuff. Like, they make all this visually appealing stuff, and it's like for them to not have an eating mechanic or drink and or a drinking mechanic in game would seem like a waste of that effort.
It is a waste.
Oh, totally. I love playing survival games, right? But I played a lot of them, and that's why I really hope they get it right, because I've experienced.
Well, and if they don't get it right on V1, I mean, that's why people like us are here. That's why we back this project, because we give them our feedback. And like think of like hover mode. Like hover mode got axed because people had a lot of feedback about it.
Take me back. No.
But hover mode got a lot of feedback, and they decided to scrap it for the time being.
Like,
and
screw it, whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, if this mechanic is that detrimental to everybody playing the game, they will do something about it. Like, they're not just going to let it sit. I mean, they'll let it
be easier than just pulling the whole mechanic. They'll be like, cool, once every 12 hours. Okay, is that all right?
I don't think it's going to be that bad, though.
I think it's just going to be.
I think it's going to be something that, it's just going to have to be tweaked. We have to see what it is. It's all speculation at this point. Until we have it in
speculation
our hand and see what's what with it. We don't know if it's going to be good, bad, ugly. They're going to need to change it. It's too.
We're definitely going to have bugs where somebody's going to be eating and it looks like ridiculous, and it's going to be hilarious. And
I can't wait to be assaulted in game by a space hobo demanding all my burgers. That's gonna be the best. Like, he's gonna stow away in my ship and be like, "Where's the burgers? Where are they?" I expect that.
Because I pointed out last week too. Like, you have ships like the 890 jump. Like, there has to downline be a cooking mechanic, because I'm not just gonna serve, like, if I'm on an 890 jump, like, or I'm piloting an 890 jump, or I'm running one, I wouldn't want like my guests to be served like chocolate bars.
You don't want to give them torpedo burritos?
No, I want them to have like the finest like Tavarian escargot, or whatever, like whatever's appropriate, So, but yeah, there you go.
Dining, and it makes sense. I mean, that goes in with the lore of that ship, and it should be a thing. I mean, if you're going to implement these things, then you have to have things, fitting to the scale of what you're getting. Like, you go to the bar they've shown off in Microtech.
Oh, that looks so
you don't
cool.
expect something.
Wally's.
It looks amazing. It looks like something you'd get out of Vegas, but you'd expect to see high end things there not what you
Right.
find at your local dive bar.
Not the same
You know.
old things I can see at the other bars. I mean, maybe some, there is some overlap, right? Like there's always things that you always have at the bar. No matter
Mhm.
what scale of bar it is, there's always going to have like a
Chicken wings.
bottle. Yeah, it's always going to have bottles of
Everyone
like
needs
Maker's
chicken wings.
Mark.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a bottle of this. There's always going to be, so I don't mind the bottles, but yeah, I definitely want there to be like higher end brands that I can't get at other places. Like that's part of the thing that makes the game interesting, is not just the like choices have consequences, but places have unique things to them, and I think food and drink is part of that. I mean, when you travel in the world, like when you go out traveling, what's one of the first things you research before vacation? Where the hell to eat near your place that sounds interesting and fun. You know, like eating's part of your life, whether you like it or not.
I like to look up where the lowest populated areas are.
Social distance on vacation.
Yep. It was vacation time.
Social
what is the least
distance
popular
vacation.
location? I'm like, what is the
Are we
worst
Mad
beach?
TV now?
That's where
Lowered
we should
expectations.
go.
Yeah, just go to like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a vacation, Ma. Where are you going? I'm going to, like Tucson, Arizona. Why there?
Yeah.
Because nobody else is there.
Exactly. I'd be like, it's raining, kids. Let's go to the zoo. That's me. So meanwhile, you're having all your fancy food, Buster, and anyone who wants to crew up with me on my hammerhead, I hope that refried bean dispenser finally works. And
You know, I
can have
really
a,
don't
you can
like
have a
anything
cup
that
of
can't
bean.
get right the first time, right?
You're gonna get a cup of bean, okay?
That ship is gonna smell wonderful, by the way.
No, I'm gonna eat.
Okay, it's a military.
Petrusian caviar still exists, I assume, in like 930 years from now. I'm hoping that I'll just have the caviar and the cream cheese and all that.
Didn't we see caviar? I thought when they were showing off some of the foods, there was something that looked very akin to caviar.
Oh, maybe there was. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Just turtle eyes, man. It's just turtle eyes.
Oh no! Oh
Gross.
no! Not my precious turtle babies. Not my precious turtle babies. So
that's what Twitch is doing back there in the alley.
Oh my god!
Harvesting the turtle eyes.
But
I don't have very refined taste, Buster. I'm sorry.
Yum. I have all the taste. I like every. And let me ask you guys this. What is your favorite food, and what do you think it's like? What do you think it's like? Buffs or debuffs would be in Star Citizen. That's got you guys thinking. I hear. Well, I can smell the smoke coming off your brains.
I'm a certified pastry chef. I went to culinary school, so I don't know. I gotta go cheesecake. I had my own business making cheesecake, so I gotta go. I'm gonna say cheesecake would be my favorite thing. I don't know what the hell it would be for a buff though.
It'd probably be a debuff. You get
that's true.
You get like that cheat. You get that like you'd slow you down a little bit. It's so filling and rich.
It should increase your speed and energy for a little while,
and then crash,
and then have a crash. And so you just gotta keep on eating more.
So you get a
and
buff
more
and
and
a
more
debuff
of it
all at the same time.
Right. Yeah,
it's
a debuff at the end.
I gotta make sure I keep running to burn the calories off from all the cheesecake.
Yeah. Maybe you'll stand on a table as your debuff.
Exactly.
Now, what about you other two? Like, what would it be for you guys? Aussie and
bacon.
Bacon, okay.
Bacon.
Bacon's probably going to be in the game, to be honest. Even if it's not like true bacon, it's going to be like some kind of like bacon from some particular animal or something.
Yeah.
So bacon.
That's it. I mean, bacon goes good with anything except for cheesecake.
Honestly, I would have it on cheesecake.
I've seen bacon cheesecakes. It's like a.
I have made a bacon cheesecake. Thank you very much.
I would not do it. It hurts my soul.
I don't know. You know what?
It's interesting. It's interesting.
The shakes, the bacon and maple shakes.
Yeah, no.
It's like that hurt my soul. I was like, what?
Thing.
Bacon's pretty good on a lot of sweet things, in my opinion, because of the saltiness of it and the crispness of the texture. Like I've made a cheesecake before where I was glad that I thought about it, but I actually put bacon, like a layer of bacon bits on top of it, instead of like in the batter of it, because I realized like it's probably gonna rehydrate and get all like that rubbery bacon, and I want like the crunchy bacon on top. Like it's just like it's just like a little like sprinkling.
So what would be the buff or debuff on it? It's like I would assume you would have to drink more water.
Yeah, bacon would probably be like you'd be more thirsty because it's salty.
Yeah.
And maybe you get just a little bit of extra vigor for like 30 seconds because you feel good about the fact
protein.
that you ate bacon.
Protein from bacon.
And fat. I mean, fat.
I think.
Well, the fat is an energy source actually. So.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd probably be pretty it'd probably be pretty normal like levels of nutritional value, but it would probably just have a slight like thirst debuff.
I personally would go with like a nice steak. I feel like that should actually make it so I don't have to eat quite as soon because protein takes longer to digest. But it could slow me down initially and have a lot more staying power. So it slows your metabolism down to digest the steak, but you don't have to eat for an extra 2 hours. I'd be down for that.
I wonder if they do have that. If certain foods, depending on the calorie density and whatnot, and the type of food it is going to have an impact of how long it takes for you to have to go ahead.
Because that would be my focus.
Okay, hold on.
If they do.
So, can you imagine? Has anybody looked on the job sites for Cloud Imperium, whether or not they're hiring a nutritionist?
I guarantee you they have one on.
They
staff.
did.
I can almost guarantee you they do.
That interview that I was talking about was with a developer who had to like interview with nutritionists and do tons of research on that.
Yeah.
So they always go really in depth, which is why they rarely deliver on time. But that's what we get at the end is something that we couldn't really expect from any other group. So that's why I'm usually willing to give them just a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But I mean, steak. Like, what kind of steak are we talking here, Gandora? Like, that's important to me. I'm Texan.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. And not a brisket steak, by all means.
Okay,
Brisket's
so let's
never
just be
been
real.
the same.
I just said I would be excited to eat refried beans delivered out of a machine into a styrofoam cup. All right.
Yuck.
So for me, I just want a lot of steak so I don't have to eat again later. And I can beat something with the back of my gun hard enough. I can take any steak you give me and hit it with the back of a gun enough times that it'll feel soft, okay? I understand that ribeye is better, but I can make any meat soft enough that I'll be able to eat it.
These statements are hurting my soul as someone who loves to cook. Jesus.
As someone who literally has cooked that way, I was in the military, okay? Just whatever, okay? I enjoy fancy food when I can afford fancy food, but when I can afford fancy food, I buy spaceships anyway. So there you go. Sirloin it is.
Hey, you can make any cut of steak good. You just got to know how to handle it that way.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, sous
vide
good.
Cook it in a sous vide.
I can make a $2 steak taste like a $15 steak at the very least. You know what I mean? And I'm tougher than a $2 steak. I'll tell you that. For me,
came out there.
For me though, like my favorite food, and I'll show you guys. I'll show it on the thing. My favorite food that I would love to see in game is called. It's a Szechuan dish. It's called water boiled beef. It's not actually boiled beef. It's marinade. It's kind of complicated dish, but it's not too complicated. But basically, it's like beef and vegetables in a very, very spicy like chili sauce, and it's super good. I call it soup because they send me a giant bucket of it.
Okay.
I just call it soup. It's when I say soup. When I just tell my boyfriend, I'm like, I want to get soup today. He knows what I mean. He knows I just want some water boiled beef. And it's one of the most delicious dishes. You can get it all kinds of spice levels and stuff like that. It's got white pepper in it. It's wonderful. I think if this had nutritional value, it would pretty much have the same nutritional value as like, because it comes with rice usually. So you'd have like the carbohydrates from the rice, and then you'd have like, you know, the protein from the steak and like various things from the vegetables. But I think the biggest thing would be the spice factor. I'm a big believer in like spicy food, like kind of does things to your mind. And it's not like really like, it's kind of subtle, but I feel like it makes you more alert in some ways. And also numbs maybe other senses like your taste. And so I think if it was given like a buff or a debuff, I do think it would get a buff for like a temporary like kind of like alertness of some kind, like maybe not stamina, maybe a little bit of stamina increase because like, you know, sometimes you feel like very euphoric when you eat something really spicy. And so I do think it affects your mind, and so I think that spicy food would be an interesting thing to see too, just in general in the game, just to see if it, yeah. So that, and then with it, it would be the drink that would go with it. I should have told you guys give me a drink too, a drink order with it. But the drink order with that would be probably a salted lemonade.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, so it'd be like the salted lemonade would be great because it gives you the electrolytes because it's already got salt in it. So it'd be like a Gatorade, basically. It'd be like a homemade Gatorade. So yeah, that's me. Szechuan spicy boiled beef. It's my favorite.
No, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
My favorite food.
I feel like that would also give you the same side effect though as the torpedo burrito, if you catch what I'm saying.
Hey, as long as you got a toilet in your
as long as you're not on a Cutlass Black, you're good to go.
Hey, or a Cutlass Red with a crew. Be like, get out of here!
I ate Szechuan today. No, I mean personally, I don't have that issue. I'm not going to talk about my poops on stream, but
not this time.
Let's just
be a whole different show.
Let's just leave it at Buster has a stomach of steel.
There you go.
You live in Texas, of course you do.
I was eating jalapenos before I could even talk. Like, you know, that's maybe the genetically engineered.
And
like
your dad was laughing the whole time.
My mama was feeding them to me.
See the jalapenos. She's still eating it. She's still eating
it. See, that's what I honestly miss that about Texas. Like for 17 years, I got an iron stomach. I came up here and now I'm a wuss. It's like, you know, can't eat what I used to eat in Texas. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I have to keep it up. I feel like I have to keep it up or I'll lose. It's like if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm always like, I better always eat spicy food while I have the ability, because I may very well lose the ability to as I get older, and or if I just stop eating spicy food, like my tolerance for it's gonna go down.
Yeah, it's hard.
I watch Hot Ones and I'm like, man, I could do that show. Even if I was crying, I'd finish every dang wing. You know?
Yeah.
That's what we should do. We should do like a night crew night where we all
challenge.
Do a spy, like we all like make sure we have the same product of some kind.
That's
like
a negative bet, man. I would die.
I'll do it.
I would die.
I think
I'll do it.
I actually had I was going through, I was getting some salsa and I was like, I really want to spice up some salsa for my eggs and stuff like that. I'm gonna get some stuff.
Oh, salsa
so I had
and eggs
this
is the
big
best.
pile of scrambled eggs and I had it all. And I just picked a big old scoop of it, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? And here, I didn't read the label. It was actually, ghost pepper salsa. And I'm like, oh my god.
Well, you spiced it up all right.
Nice.
There's a brand here in Texas. My boyfriend, Mrs. Refrenos. I can never say it right.
Okay.
But like they have like their normal spicy, which is habanero, and then like they have the ghost pepper one. My boyfriend did that to me one day. He's like, "Oh, hey, you want some salsa?" And I just figured he gets the same one as usual. And I take a scoop of it, and I'm like, "You son of a bitch!" like no, but yeah, it's just a thing in Texas. You just learn to deal with the spicy. It's funny when I meet people from other places, like especially further up north and in the Midwest, particularly, like they don't eat spicy food at all. Like I go somewhere like there, and I find a Mexican place, and I'm like, oh cool, there's a Mexican place here. We'll go eat there. And then it's like the hot sauce tastes like ketchup.
Oh no.
Oh man, that's the worst. Or like marinara. Oh.
Like up here, in the Yankee state is like. It's terrible. It's like that we have a couple Mexican restaurants. It's like I don't even go to them.
Yeah,
it's like it's not Mexican. The salsa's terrible. Everything's terrible.
Yeah, but I get like some people just can't do spice. Like Jay Fish saying he doesn't do spice well. So there's nothing wrong with that. You just I just feel bad for people that can't eat the spice like I can, because it's spice is the variety is the spice of life, and spice is the variety of life. But we are getting towards the end of the show now, everybody, so we will start wrapping up here. But just kind of some closing thoughts. Once again, everybody keep to yourselves. Stay home right now, etc.,
No
etc.
touching.
I touch. I know. I touch my face all the time.
Don't be like me. Oh, I constantly touch my face.
I constantly touch my face.
Here, I'm touching my face
I was
every
just.
5
I'm whatever.
seconds.
I mean, if I get,
I don't
if I
go
get it,
anywhere
I get
though.
it.
else. Yeah, exactly.
If I get it, I
wash
get it.
my hands.
Like,
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere.
I've been washing the crap out of my hands with everybody I have to deal with, but yeah. So everybody, take care. Like, and glad to see that again that CIG talked about how they're dealing with it. I was glad. Like, it wasn't so much that I wanted an update because I want to know what's going on. It's more of like I want to know that they're cool. You know what I mean? Like, they're okay, and everybody's like that. They're also doing, like that. It was more of like, oh, they're being responsible as a company, and like they're taking care of their people, and they're trying to be, good to everybody. Because I with all the kids out of school, I think Dallas shut school's out for the rest of the year, which is cool because there's no like school zones when I'm driving, but.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when I go to the mall, like to go to like the fancy places I go to, because I go fancy ass mall. When I go to the mall, it's like I'll be having kids running around Neiman's, and I'll be like, I can't handle this. Don't knock over that shoe. That's like a $5,000 shoe. Like, come on. But anyway,
more and more like me and Jay Fish are gonna be homeschooling for the rest of the year, huh?
I think so. They haven't announced it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel bad for the high school kids who aren't going to have prom this year.
Yeah, that sucks for them. I don't know.
That
prom
sucks.
You can be in a bubble suit and just kind of like rub the bubbles up against each other, have some music.
But that's kind of. I'll tell you after stream.
I love you, Buster.
All right, let me start finding somebody. I'm going to start looking for somebody to raid. But in the meantime, why don't you guys, one by one, tell everybody who he is, where you're from, not where you're from, but who he is, where to find you, and what you're about here on Twitch. And Jay Fish, we'll start with you since you're new.
All right, so yeah, I'm Jfish Media. You can find me twitch.tv/Jfish Media. I do Star Citizen mainly. I used to do Escape from Tarkov, and I've kind of burned out on that. So yeah, I'm a morning streamer, Central Standard Time, right around 9 a.m. generally for the most part. And I do bartending videos on YouTube.
Right on. And what about you, Gandora?
I'm Gandora Olap, and you can reach me at twitch.tv/Gandora Olap or twitter.com/Gandora Olap or Facebook too now. I stream on Twitch primarily, and I run a gaming group. We are a variety gaming group, and every Tuesday I play Star Citizen, even when I don't want to. And then I tend to play a variety of other games throughout. I personally like to make sure that I don't overburn myself out on the game, because playing every Tuesday, I seem to be able to still enjoy a long play session during that time frame. And then sometimes when we have like a lot of content coming out, I'll do like a whole week of gameplay. But I try to make sure I'm always available to play with people. And just so you guys know, and anyone who's watching, I always invite people to join me and fly with me while I'm streaming and off. So don't ever feel like the fact that I haven't personally reached out to you means that you're not invited. Every one of you in this show right now, and everyone watching, as long as you can be chill in space with me, you're totally invited to fly with me.
Right on.
And yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And what about you, Miss Ospeda?
I am a variety streamer. You can find me on Twitch at Ospeda, and Twitter. I always try to update my Twitter if I'm going to stream or if I have to cancel my stream because of my father being sick. But for the most part, Sunday through Thursday, I am going to be doing splits on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now we'll stream RPG games at the first half at 2, starting at 2, and then the second half after my break, I'll be streaming Star Citizen. So for the rest of the night. So yeah, but Survival Sunday is probably by far my most popular game days. Is Survival Sundays where I play survival, a post-apocalyptic, kill me dead. Like I play on the hardest difficulty you could possibly imagine on any game. So people love to watch me die. So just come and watch me die. It's
People
all
love
good.
to watch me die.
They do. They love it.
Well, right on. Well, thank you, Ospita.
Yep.
And
how about you, Buster?
You got me that time.
I did.
I am Buster the Destroyer here on Twitch. On Twitter and Instagram, I'm Buster Destroyer because the is always taken by some freaking dog. Or it's too long for one of those. But anyway, Buster Destroyer on Instagram and Twitter, and then like I said, Buster the Destroyer here on Twitch. You can just find me like playing Star Citizen usually on Tuesdays. Wednesday nights I'm doing Pulsar now. We didn't do it this week, but that's what we normally do on Wednesdays now with a few other people, including Spazzy McGee, who's another member of the night crew. And then Thursday nights I host this one show called Night Crew or NC on SC where we talk about Star Citizen. You guys may have heard of it.
Check that out.
Yeah, you have to check it out. It's a really good show.
Okay. All right.
In fact, you're on it right now, if you didn't know.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Really?
Damn.
No, but I host this show every Thursday night unless, like, I can't, unless I have to have a cancellation for any particular reasons. I won't have my opera cancellation this year because the opera, I won't be able to go see my favorite opera of all time, Barber of Seville. So very upset about that. I'm not bitter at all. But that is going on. And then about an hour after this ends, I do another stream of Star Citizen. So in an hour, come catch me. There might be a giveaway going on. Just saying. And then,
Nice.
And then on, what do you call it? Saturdays right now. The next 4 Saturdays, I have Star Trek Vasquez, which is the Spice Must Roll podcast. Like Spice Must Roll is a group of mostly Star Citizen content creators who are doing tabletop RPGs, and we got 4 episodes left of Star Trek Vasquez for this season, and then in a couple months we will be back on The Expanse. So do come check me out. I play Commander Baaj, who is Klingon. Who would have guessed that I would play Klingon? Who would have guessed?
What?
Yeah.
Shocker.
But anyway, do come check that out. And I usually do. I always forget to mention this. I generally have been doing makeup streams before that particular show because I do the Klingon makeup. So if you want to learn how to do Klingon makeup, come see me Saturday mornings. But anyway, that's it for me. I was on Captain's Table last week. That'll be up on YouTube soon, I'm sure, if it isn't already. So go check that out. And yeah, that's me. And I think I pegged somebody to raid. I think we're gonna go after Mr. TV Liquid. I think that would be a good call. Maddie just got started, but I think we raided Maddie last week, so I'm gonna send it to TV Liquid this time, and I'm sure TV Liquid will take it over to him anyway. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna start putting in the raid command. Everybody, have a good evening. Please stick around for this raid. When you get over to the raid, please, if you have any of our individual emotes, spam those. Or if you particularly have the Night Crew channel's emotes, we would very much appreciate you spamming those emotes. But do enjoy Mr. TV Liquid. He is one of our own. He's an excellent, excellent Star Citizen streamer. He usually has a giveaway going on, so he's probably got one going on tonight. But y'all go see him. Y'all be sweet. Y'all be awesome. Y'all be freaking
stay safe.
Great. Wash your hands. Stay inside. Order stuff on Amazon, or if you can, order your groceries like through Instacart and all those other services. Try to do that kind of thing. Use your toilet paper sparingly, or just buy a bidet. Let's just be honest. Just buy a bidet.
Yeah. This is really like, yeah.
Wow.
Let's just
go get in the shower.
Just
Just
have
we weren't gonna
just
talk
have a
about
nice
it,
little
but
like
here we
back
are.
like just have a nice
we
little
are.
like Poseidon's kiss, you know?
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Poseidon's Kiss. That
Yeah.
would be an amazing brand name for a bidet.
You've never seen that meme where like it's like
Poseidon's
somebody's memeing like that, like when you go number 2 and it kind of plops in and it like you get that little like
The
the
splashback?
splashback. They call it Poseidon's Kiss.
Okay, you know what? I can't unsee any of this. Just saying, or unhear it.
But
Yeah.
bye, Chad.
feel
See you later.
educated.
Have fun on TV Liquid.
Bye, everyone.
Space whales.
Them soft tarps though.
Bye.
Them
Soft
soft
tarp.
body tarps though.
But yeah, soft body.
Them soft body tarps.
Oh,
Bye
soft
guys.
body
See you later.
tarps.
Have
Bye.
fun.